Well, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to Crunch Time here on this Saturday evening. Maybe it's the afternoon if you're on the West Coast. But I am Britt Devine, joined by my good friends TJ and STL Cards as an entrant to the new father. What's some good advice you can give me out here?
It'll get better in a few years, maybe. There you go. This sage advice. It's you take advantage of the time you're up. We were talking before the show. You mentioned trying to get some good prop lines and things like that. See, that's using your time wisely. So I think you're on the right track there. And yeah, we can swap some tips back and forth. We're going to be going down to Florida in a week or so. My wife has some family down there, and we're going to hop over to Disney for a few days. So
I might know a thing or two about that, Justin.
We'll trade some tips.
What's up, TJ? How's it going over there?
Doing pretty well. Not going to Florida anytime soon, and no kids yet, but so I can't provide anything on that stand front. But hey, I'm getting married in like 6-ish weeks. So maybe one day I'll be able to help. But,
I didn't even know that. So congrats. And you've got all this Marvel stuff. You're just honorary Disney family. I'm going to include you on that. How does that sound?
Oh, heck yes. On Monday, actually, I'm interviewing the actor who plays Baymax from Big Hero 6.
Look at this. Just name dropping people that
he's also Pete from 30 Rock, Scott Adson.
If you've ever all right, I know who that is. All right, guys, we've got a fun little slate today. Justin, I read through your article today, and maybe me and you can handle more of the cash stuff. And TJ, I think we had I don't know if they're fire takes, but a lot of different takes we had in the pre-show. What exactly are we doing on cash? We'll start on our sponsor, Fanduel, because you get one pitcher over there, Justin, and there's 4 or 5 I think you can make the case for tonight. Some have higher ceilings, some have lower floors, some have tough matchups, some are good but not a lot of high strikeout upside against the lineup they're going up against today. Break it down. We got Snell, Webb, Fried, Sandoval. If you want to go cheap, maybe Zach Davies. Logan Gilbert's in there too, but I don't know if he enters the cash game lineup over there for you. So what are you really looking at today?
Yeah, this is where you're going to get some different takes tonight, because it kind of depends on your personal preference for a few of these things. If you're fine with the guys that have maybe a little more risk, but perhaps have some strikeout upside, then Snell is probably your guy, maybe Sandoval. But, we know that Snell can get blown up at times. He can throw a lot of pitches. It's just, it's always a little bit of a roller coaster with him. If you prefer safety and run prevention, then a guy like Logan Webb, the Reds have a team total of 2.8 runs tonight. Webb's looked a lot better over his last few starts, but he's not going to have that 10 strikeout potential. So if you want the guy that's more likely to go 6 innings, 2 runs, 4 or 5 Ks, probably get a win, then Webb's your guy. But you look at Gilbert, Sandoval, Snell, they all have higher strikeout props tonight. So if you are okay with a little more risk and you want to chase that upside even in your cash build, I think those guys are fine. Max Fried is the wild card. He's the most expensive on FanDuel, but he also has the best numbers this year, but he's facing the Dodgers. So it's a really tough call. I think most people are probably going to land on Snell for the discount, or Webb if they prefer just the guy that's probably not going to get shelled. And I think Fried is more of a tournament pivot tonight. But it really depends on your approach, because none of these guys are, absolutely dominant plus a good matchup like we saw, Cole and Burns this afternoon. Mm-hmm. High upside guys in tough matchups as well. And then it was Houston that ended up throwing a no-hitter. So, I think it's probably Snell or Webb in cash, depending on your preference of how you like to handle your risk tolerance in cash games.
Yeah, I like Snell on FanDuel because you get the discount. And I think Webb is the alternative. If we were going to go over to DraftKings, this is where I think I differentiate a little bit, because Snell, he's not ultra cheap over there. And the walks definitely hurt you a little bit more on DraftKings than they do on FanDuel. You don't get docked for them over on FanDuel. And you've got a couple guys. Webb is just really cheap. I know you mentioned him on FanDuel. But you've got Sandoval and Fried are both cheaper than Snell. Does anything change for you over on DraftKings for cash?
I do like Fried a little more on DK. And I think, given the pricing, I think it would make sense if you need it that you can play Fried in cash on DraftKings. And I did tag him there because he's only 8,600. And if you look at the numbers, I mean, he's clearly the best pitcher on the slate. It's just that he has to face the Dodgers, and that's priced in on DraftKings. So I could see any combination really of even throwing Sandoval in that mix because of his salary. But Webb at 7,800 makes a lot of sense on DK. So I would probably end up with maybe more of a Webb Fried type build on DK, even against the Dodgers. I mean, I think Fried is okay at that price.
Yeah, I snuck in Sandoval, I think, onto my cash team. There's a lot of strikeouts in that Seattle lineup today, and outside of maybe like a Suarez home run or something like that, I think Sandoval can get it done. And I needed all the good bats I wanted, Justin, were in the outfield, and they're all expensive. So I needed to save every last dollar I could. So I went Snell, Fanduel, and changed it to the cheaper pitchers on DraftKings, sort of like I think you were doing. Which brings me to TJ for tournaments. You got a favorite of these guys, TJ? If you're looking at ownership, right, Webb on DK, 50% owned. On FanDuel, it's pretty spread out between Snell and Webb as the top, and then it spreads out a little bit more. Who's your favorite of these guys for tournaments?
I do have a favorite, and if I'm being honest, you're not going to like it.
Mm-hmm.
And that guy today for me is going to be Mitch White. The Atlanta Braves love to strike out. This is a really gross pitching slate. He could get blown up and be out of there in a couple innings, or he could reach 80 pitches, get 5, maybe push for 6 innings and get 8, 9, 10 strikeouts along the way. He's not picking up any ownership. He's got a ton of upside, and this team strikes out a lot. So it's dangerous, but there's not a single pitcher on this slate who I would deem safe. So Mitch White's going to be my guy today in tournaments.
Yeah, I like that for as a nice call in tournaments.
You're supposed to not like it. I was trying to set it up so that like you were going to be like, "What? You're crazy."
He's like 2%. I get it. He has a little bit of pedigree. It makes total sense, and he's going completely unowned today. I love it from a tournament perspective. I think that's good. Someone I'm playing, well, more from the sportsbook on FanDuel Sportsbook, our sponsor. Thanks, FanDuel. If you guys are new to sports betting and you live in one of the states where you can download the FanDuel Sportsbook and you get a risk-free bet up to $1,000, which is crazy. I took massive advantages of all the risk-free bets when it came to New York. Make sure to check that out on FanDuel. One of the ones I did today, and maybe from a tournament perspective, I don't even hate it in cash, is Zach Davies. I took his over. It was like 4.5, and then I laddered that up to like 7 or 8. Because look at Zach Davies' game log, and I know we always make fun of the game log watchers, but he's literally pitched to his competition every single game this season. If he plays a crappy team, he's got like 6, 7, 8 strikeouts. If he plays a tough team, it's like 3 or 4. Newsflash, it's the Tigers today. TJ, can you get on board with Davies, some strikeout props maybe, or a tournament play?
Yeah, tournament play over on especially DraftKings. I don't mind it one bit. On FanDuel, he's up at 8,200. I don't really have interest in playing him there, but 6,900 on DraftKings, I could get on board with that today for sure.
Yeah, that was the other guy I was looking at today. Anything else? Any shot in the dark? I mean, we're not playing. We pretty much hit anyone. We didn't really talk about Logan Gilbert. Anyone on Gilbert today against the Angels? I know the bat absolutely hates him today. Does anyone think he can be the guy that chips a tournament for you?
In the one lineup I'm running today, I'm not getting to him, but I am interested in him for GPPs. If I was running at 150, he'd definitely be a guy I'd be trying to get overweight on.
Yeah, I on DK I've got some. I'm multi-entering the one of the smaller tournaments over there. I think I've got 80 lineups or something. So in that case, especially if you've got a lower cost stack, right? No pitcher on DraftKings is more than 10K. I've had a few lineups where I've had trouble using all the salary, particularly if you want to play anyone on the Tigers that's not named Javi Baez. Everyone's like free. Everyone's 2K. So on DraftKings, I think it makes sense in some tournament builds with the 2 pitchers. Maybe not as necessary on FanDuel with only 1, but yeah, I mean, he could easily be the highest scoring pitcher on this slate. It's not a lot separating a lot of these guys.
All right, let's move to offense. lay of the land, TJ, in tournaments. What's sort of going on out there? I'm looking at the totals. Minnesota's hanging a 5. Arizona's close to 5. San Francisco's hanging around 5. Atlanta's got a big total of, a little over 4.5. Of the main offenses, which one's there? And then I think you and Cards are both on a lower owned offense today as well.
Yeah, so one of the chalkier teams that I'm going to be playing today is Minnesota. Sensatella just doesn't strike anybody out, and they got Buxton back in the lineup today, so I'm interested in playing them. The big fade for me today is going to be Atlanta, obviously, because I'm playing Mitch White, but I also like San Fran quite a bit, and I'm landing on quite a bit of Angels as well because I'm obviously paying down at pitcher.
The stack I think both you and Cards were on is Detroit. I know Javi Baez, we were sort of joking, and I saw something across on Twitter. I don't know if it was yesterday or the day before, but basically every year he's horrible, and then he goes absolutely ballistic, and he's in the middle of that run currently right now. So his prices has gone up as his performance has jumped up. But the Detroit team's starting to click a little bit here. I think you like Riley Green too a little bit. Does that mean you're on the stack as a cheap play tonight?
This mini stack, heck yes. Full stack, not going to be touching it for me today, but I do really like Riley Green as well as Javi Baez.
Cards, what are your thoughts on that Detroit stack?
Yeah, I mean, it's really interesting because, all right, I was literally just messing around with this, and if I put, all right, let's just put in the top 5 hitters in the Detroit lineup. So Baez is 4,200 on DraftKings. Castro is 2,500. Reyes is 2,500. Cabrera is 2,300. Riley Green is 2K. And I've got 7,300 per player left for the rest of my lineup. So even if I put in, let's pick your 2 favorite pitchers. Let's say Webb and Snell. Fine. I've got $6,533 on average.
You can't play any outfielders
for 3 hitting spots. And so, I mean, Ohtani 6,300, Buxton 6,100. Take your pick. You could play. Basically, you can get a lineup on DraftKings with the Detroit stack plus your 2 favorite pitchers plus like Buxton and Trout, and still have money left on the table. So that's what I was getting to. At some lineups, I just can't spend all the money if you're playing Detroit, or maybe to a lesser extent. If you're on Arizona, a little bit on the other side of that game, they're a little more expensive. But I don't mind the Detroit stack because of what you can get around them. I don't expect Detroit to score 14 runs, but if you've got one-off hitters like Correa, if you're that would require not playing Baez, but maybe you got Freddie Freeman that's not going to carry much ownership tonight, or just guys with upside and home run power, Trout, Ohtani, Acuna. That you can fit around those Detroit stacks. I think it could have the potential to win a GPP if they score, say, 7 or 8 runs and you get, 2 or 3 home runs from your one-off guys.
All right, before we get into position by position, I got to remind all of you to get the Scores and Odds app. If you are in a state where you need to know, hey, which sportsbook has the best odds, for free, you can get all that on Scores and Odds in just a couple of clicks. Whether if you want to know which site has the best home run prop on Mike Trout tonight, in like 2 clicks, you can find that on Scores and Odds, literally for free. If you want all the picks and all the analysis that comes along with it from the experts here at RotoGrinders, you can get that by a subscription. But make sure to check that out. I'm literally on it, Justin, I think 24/7, scouring for the best odds all the time. So I always like to recommend it to everybody here.
Absolutely.
Did you put any picks in there today?
I did not today. I don't
All right.
love the night slate from a betting perspective. It's a little bit of a wild card slate, though I have started to – I was slow to come around on some of the props, but I put my first 2 strikeout props in the other day and went 2-0. So I got to try to
hang
get
it
on
up,
that.
hang it up and retire.
100%.
Gotta say, we got 211 people watching and 75 likes for the Spidey Bomb today. It's been a little cold the last few days, and that usually means a hot streak's coming, just like Javi Baez. No, that's not who it is today, but 75 likes, and that's what we're getting the Spidey Bomb.
I was literally going to call you Javi Baez, CJ.
Spidey dished me a fun one today. I think it's a good call, and I'm excited about it.
All right. Real quick, catcher Justin. You got Varsho, but he's down in the lineup. If you were going to play him, I think the interest in him has waned a little bit. You don't really need a catcher on FanDuel today. What are we doing on DraftKings? I don't really have the money. I could play Will Smith against Fried, but he's 5,600. I'm probably going down towards the bottom of the barrel, the 3K-ish type area on DK.
Yeah, catcher is pretty weak tonight, and then DraftKings took away the catcher eligibility for Varsho, so you can't use him there. Again, those lineups where you have plenty of money to spend, you can certainly. I mean, Gary Sanchez against a low strikeout pitcher is appealing. He is hitting 7th, but in terms of home run potential, he's still up there. If you're not using Sandoval, like Torrens is hitting 6 for Seattle, he's only 2,400. So he would probably be my preferred punt. Otherwise, use somebody in your stacks. I think Real Muto is an interesting GPP play if you're not on Blake Snell, just as, leverage away from a chalky pitcher. So Alfaro is hitting 3rd for San Diego. Their lineup's a little bit banged up. Don't love him against a righty, but and he's 4,200 on DK. But for me, Real Muto and Sanchez probably the upside plays, and Torrens is probably the best punt.
TJ, real quick, catcher, and anything really stand out to you? I like the Gary Sanchez call. I think Darno probably fits the bill. If I know it's against your boy White tonight, but if you're just sort of home run hunting, those are the two guys up the top I'd have interest in.
Yep, I like those calls a lot. Gary Sanchez and Real Muto were the two guys in my DK lineup I've been torn between. And if I didn't have White in there, I would really like Darno. Darno's probably my favorite one, and I just have to not go to him simply because I'm playing White. But Darno might be my favorite one of the bunch.
All right, first base cash, Justin. Let's do. Yeah, I think it's very different between the sites today. So we'll start on FanDuel. What are maybe two guys that pique your interest?
Yeah, salary, becomes part of it as well, and position eligibility, which is a little bit different between the sites. I like Matt Olson a lot in tournaments, kind of a mid-range price point. We've got him in the single digits tonight. He is my favorite Atlanta bat. He's 3,500 on FanDuel. I think a lot of people will go cheap here. You've got the usual San Francisco guys that are in there against lefties. Both Ruff and Flores have first base eligibility on FanDuel, and Christian Walker at only 2,900, I think makes a lot of sense on FanDuel as well. He's comparatively more expensive on DK. So for me, Olsen, maybe more of a tournament play. Otherwise, you're probably going to land on one of those cheap Giants guys or Walker.
And then on DraftKings, you have the ability to use Ohtani at first base. Are you getting up to him salary-wise? Do you have that enough for maybe a cash team? Or are you going to the Walker type play on there as well?
No, I think he makes sense on I think Ohtani does make sense on DraftKings because there are so many guys in the outfield. Again, if you're playing a low-cost stack, you can maybe jam in an expensive outfielder plus Ohtani at first. Maybe makes it a little bit easier to get Trout and Ohtani together if you're looking for a little mini Angel stack against Gilbert. So, I think Ohtani's definitely in play. Whether you need to play him in cash or not, it's up for debate against a good pitcher. But and I thought Walker was over 4K on DraftKings. I'm mistaken. He's only 3,700. So, yeah, he's still in play on DraftKings as well.
All right, up to 52, 53 likes. I just clicked the button. If you want TJ's Spidey play, keep clicking that like button. We would appreciate it. TJ, tournaments, if we're all piling in on Christian Walker, Matt Olson, is the Reese against Snell, right? Is there leverage in this Philly stack if Snell's going to be ultra popular today?
I like some Reese Hoskins, and the Philly stack in general I definitely find interesting. One of the players I'm very interested in tournaments is CJ Crone. I'm getting to him quite a bit, and I like him today. And other than that, it's really mostly the players that STL was mentioning there. Like I like the San Fran stack quite a bit today. And even some of these, like somebody like Eric Hosmer as a one-off, a lefty against Eflin. I don't like playing righties against them, but I do. He's not quite as strong against lefties. So that's somebody on the cheap end I don't hate either.
All right, Cards, second base in cash. What are we looking at today?
Yeah, the middle infield positions. Again, this will be a little bit different based on what site you're playing on. On Fanduel, I do like playing Baez at second because the position is not all that exciting. Most of the ownership is going to Cronenworth and Marte, and again, those guys are fine. But you've got, if you look at the shortstop position, you've got better options, I think, in that price range, in that spend up price range, instead of playing Cronenworth or Marte at second. So I think they're okay. I've got plenty of Marte and some Arizona stacks. But on FanDuel, where it's available, I think I'd play Baez at second.
On DK, I mean, what do you got? You're still in that. Marte is what, 4K?
Yeah, Marte will have some ownership on DraftKings at 4K. Arias is expensive, but the Twins are going to be the most popular offense tonight, and so that's kind of why it differs. Based on site. So I like Arias on DK, even though he's pricey. On FanDuel, he's first, second, or third. So, you can move him around a little bit over there.
All right, TJ, anything standing out tournament-wise at second base?
I agree. Javi Baez, my favorite option. I think we got a few people in chat today kind of not realizing walks at 7:15, not 05. So we do still have 13 more minutes until lock. No need to panic yet. Lots of time. People want the Spidey Bomb before it gets close to lock. That's not up to me. That's up to you guys hitting the like button. So make sure you hit it. Free content, courtesy FanDuel. Baez is my favorite guy here at second on FanDuel. Cards is right. It's a gross position. On FanDuel, I'm looking at either Arias or Baez, and that was fun. And Cronenworth is another guy that I like as well. On DraftKings, it's tougher because there's just not that many guys I like there. So Flores is where I find myself going to here. And then, honestly, if I like a lot of Angels today, like Walsh, Ohtani, and Trout. And so I don't even hate the idea of just putting in a dirt cheap Rengifo in there as well. All
right, let's go to the hot corner, third base. I think one of the more flexible positions you can get today you can go for the the Suarez, the home run or bust type of play against Sandoval. You can go on FanDuel. You can get your 2 singles and a run from Luis Arraez. You can maybe go a little bit cheaper. You got Josh Rojas hitting leadoff for Arizona. You could go even cheaper too with Evan Longoria at 2,300 if you need ultimate price savings today. Lots of ways to go. What's your preference?
Yeah, I do like Rojas at 2,600. I think he makes sense on FanDuel. That price tag is pretty cheap, and I just feel a little safer with him over, say, the Giants guys. Though Longoria at 2,300 would probably be your other cheap option. They aren't pinch hitting for Flores as much these days, but I think, Longoria, Rojas, and then working your way up Arias, who, again, I'd probably play him at second if you're playing him, or Riley in GPPs, I think is fine as well.
What about in tournaments, TJ? Anything really standing out? There's not a lot of star power, I guess, but there's upside in guys like Riley if you wanted to take him against White. Suarez has the home run upside against Sandoval, but people will be using Sandoval. On DK, it doesn't really look too great. It's just sort of the same guys we talked about on FanDuel.
Yeah, Suarez is probably my favorite option here today. I don't mind Arias in a stack if I already got Baez in my lineup. Here at third, down low, I like Longoria as well, but second and third, kind of gross spots today. Suarez is probably my favorite guy.
Yeah, I can, even though I like Sandoval, I can definitely get on a Suarez bomb happening today, and I know the bat really likes Suarez today. Shortstop, you mentioned a couple guys you might want to pay up for today. Is that all the way to Trey Turner, or are you eyeing the Carlos Correa type tier on FanDuel today, Justin?
You talking me or him? Sorry,
you for cash on shortstop.
I think Correa is probably my favorite. It's hard to get away in cash games from these Minnesota guys against a low strikeout pitcher in Senzatella. I mean, his strikeout rate has just dipped the last couple years. Minnesota's the only team with an implied team total above 5 runs tonight. And you look at, the top of their lineup, you've got Kepler is really cheap on Fanduel. We'll get to him in the outfield, but Correa at 3,400, Buxton back in the lineup at 3,900, Arias at all three of his positions, Sanchez, particularly on DK, where you need a catcher. I think you just need to find a way to get some exposure to the Twins tonight. So Correa is my favorite option to spend up on at shortstop. And I'm not going to argue against Swanson or Trey Turner or those guys, but I think it'd be Correa number one. And then DraftKings, the conversation is a little bit different because, Baez is only shortstop over there. So, but on FanDuel, it's pretty easy to get Correa in that lineup.
Yeah, DK, I just found myself, I wanted to play the big guns in the outfield, like a Trout and Acuna, a Buxton, probably two of those guys. I found myself just dumpster diving at shortstop to, an Iglesias, a Dylan Moore, just somebody with a pulse. Is that the route you went, or do you still like paying up for the Correa? I think Baez probably at 4,200 is a nice.
Yeah. The Baez, I think, kind of bridges that gap a little bit. I'm surprised right now we got Correa at 35% ownership on DK and Baez at 7. I don't think that's probably accurate. I mean, they're only projected about a half a point apart. So I think we're a little low on the Baez ownership there on DraftKings. So, if you use that to kind of guide your cash game decisions, I'd maybe bump Baez up a little bit there. So yeah, I'm fine with Baez on DK. And he's not a guy that we love to play in cash, but as we've mentioned, he's gotten hot and against a low strikeout pitcher. I think good matchup tonight for him.
All right, TJ, in 30 seconds, give me shortstop and then some outfield tournament takes. I'll go back to Justin. We got to get to some questions here.
10 likes away from the Spidey Bomb. At shortstop, I like Baez, I like Correa, and I really like Trey Turner as a one-off. Outfielder, I'm spending up today. There are some cheap options like Riley Green that I do like, but Shohei Ohtani, Mike Trout, Byron Buxton, Taylor Ward, those are the guys for me today. Ronald Acuna is, of course, in a good spot as well, but I'm not playing him against my pitcher today. And Alec Thomas is a very good, cheap salary saver option, as well as Max Kepler on FanDuel.
I think a lot of those guys ended up on my cash team, Justin.
Yeah, I think you're probably going two spend ups and maybe one value in the outfield because Buxton, Trout, they all project real well. Ohtani, Acuna as a GPP play, and then you can get one of the cheap guys. I agree on Alec Thomas. I agree on Riley Green. I think those guys are fine. So pretty much in agreement with TJ on a lot of these outfield plays.
All right, we're going to get to some questions first in the MLB Crunch Time Discord for our premium subscribers. If there's time, I will head to the YouTubes to get a couple more. TJ, JMVP wanted to know. Now, he's not watching, but he has a question for you. I'm going to reply to him. He needs a single entry stack on DraftKings today. What would be your favorite way to target that?
For me, I'm going cheap at pitcher, and so I'm getting the Angels in my stack today. But the other one I like is San Fran if you're paying up at pitcher.
All right, I will respond to him, so he is happy on there. He is always on here. MP Mata wants to know home run picks. I don't think I had – I'm trying to think if I had a home run pick from the late games. I don't think I bet any one of those today. Maybe I had War. I think War was like +4 something earlier in the day. And maybe I had, I think Ohtani was like +450 or something. It was something ridiculous. I'm sure they've changed, but those were probably the two I was looking at today from the Angels. Does anyone else have a home run pick?
We're 9 likes.
I was going to say TJ's not allowed. TJ's not allowed to give
Mike
anything
Trout.
out.
Mike Trout.
But
that's always a good. Hey, yeah, my mark.
Hit the like button if you want the good one.
Makes sense tonight. I mean, low strikeout pitcher. Somebody's going yard from the Twins.
All right. BHB, DraftKings cash, Alfaro and Green or Diaz and Thomas. So we're dumpster diving here. Cards.
I would take the first one in cash.
All right. NBA DFS wants to know he's got FanDuel cash. So Baez and Christian Walker or Correa and Rojas.
You want me to just take all the cash ones?
Yeah, well, yeah, probably. That seems pretty good right here.
I would take the first one.
Me too.
Baez and Walker, I think that works as well. I see Dean in there. Dean, my wife got me a nice chair. Did you guys see that chair I rocked?
I saw the old chair.
Literally for 7 years. I've used that through like 3 houses through my whole entire time here at RotoGrinders, and the wife got me a nice new chair. I'm up a lot higher, so I feel like I'm like 6'5" or something like
King,
that.
You're King Brit now.
All right, that's all the Discord questions. So I'm gonna go.
One thing quick, 4 minutes
yeah.
before lock that I did forget to mention that, or not even forget, just didn't really click.
Give
in
him the
until I
Spidey
started
bomb,
hand-
TJ. Give
I
him
can't
the
do it. I'll compromise for 70 likes. I'll compromise for
Give it to
70.
him.
That's 4 more. That's 4 more.
I'm
But
trying.
can't be giving this stuff away for free. We're already giving free content. We got to fight the YouTube algorithm. We need their help if they want it to be free. So we need them to hit the like button. So I think the like button just went down since I said that.
Well, I've been clicking up and down to get people's attention.
Yeah, I unclicked it as well for a moment and then clicked it again.
Something that I didn't notice until I started hand building a lineup on DraftKings just recently here is I do really like Max Fried, his price there. It's obviously a tough matchup and it's dangerous, but there's some strikeouts there, and Max Fried is pretty darn. That's way too cheap. 71 likes.
We're giving
Let's
a round
do
of
it.
applause to
We
Chad.
got
Let's
there.
go. Quick.
I had to
Spidey
log
Bomb,
in with all my
great
burners
weather
to get us
game.
there.
Get CJ Crone in your lineups. You got 3 minutes to go. CJ Crone is the Spidey Bomb today.
All right, go try to. What is that? One of the first games. That is one of the first games. So I'm not even going to have time to get a home run bet on Fanduel and on that one. A couple other ones. Pablo Sandoval in a DraftKings tournament from Mark Sanchez. Hopefully not that Mark Sanchez.
Hopefully not that Pablo Sandoval.
I was going to say, maybe he's asking about Patrick Sandoval.
Patrick Sandoval?
Yeah, Patrick Sandoval.
Pablo will take a little while to get around the bases. Yeah, I don't mind him in GPPs.
Trey Turner or Carlos Correa as a one-off tonight?
Trey Turner.
Cards?
Yeah,
I like Turner as a one-off. Super low ownership tonight.
Yeah,
Correa is the better play objectively, but with projection-wise, but he's also
Correa is going to have 8
4 or 5 times on. Yeah.
Let's see here. A couple others. Same affluent Philly stack. Just trying to read through all of these. What pitchers and stacks are the faves? This was from earlier. So the cards, people are trying to get pitching, clicking right now. Give me 30 seconds on pitching.
Yeah, it's tough. A lot of guys that project similarly, but maybe have a little more volatility. Guys like Snell and Logan Gilbert, a little more volatile. They could walk a bunch of guys. Not the easiest matchups. Max Fried has the best stuff, the best numbers, but he has to face the Dodgers. Logan Webb, not as much in terms of strikeout upside, but he has the elite matchup and he's a huge favorite. So it all depends on your risk tolerance. If you want to take it a little more risky, maybe Fried and Snell are your top 2 guys. If you're playing it a little bit more safe, Logan Webb gets a bump, and Webb is a little bit better on DraftKings as well as Fried with their pricing. So I'll probably end up with a little more Snell on FanDuel.
All right, I'm going to give out one of my favorite FanDuel bets of the night here to close it out. It's from the late game, so if you've got access to it, it was minus 104. I bet it right before the show. Cards, I want your take. I love these no-run first innings, betting either yes or no. Do you dabble in the no-run first inning market? Why not? I love these things.
I don't know. Because I feel like
I'm playing Trout and Ohtani today. I don't want you to win.
Yeah, the first time I lose one of those, I'd be an epic tilt with like a 2-out solo homer in the bottom.
The worst cards is like when you get like 3 singles with the final out. That's the worst way to lose.
Yeah, I suppose that's probably worse than a solo homer. Yeah. Anyway, those have gained a lot of steam. I haven't dabbled in them yet, but I know they are a lot more popular now.
All right, so I'm going to throw mine out. Combined, this is now some of my favorite DFS plays are Angels, but combined Sandoval and Gilbert or something. I think they're like 25-3 to the no on no runs first innings in their starts this year, and that's at minus 104. So I have taken that. I just need Trout and Ohtani to hit their home runs in the in the third inning or something like that, just not in the first inning today. So that is one of my favorite bets, just based on the starting pitchers. And Sandoval, he did good last year in that stat too. So some pitchers can come out of the gate, I think, reasonably well. And both of these guys seem to be doing it this year, and you get almost plus odds minus 104.
All right, in the FanDuel $333, I'm one of 2 people with Mitch White today.
Well, there's 2 donations in that tournament.
I don't.
Kidding.
I think White could
Just
have a
kidding.
nice little outing for you today.
If he happens to make it 5 innings today, I feel really good about what his score is going to be.
A night like tonight is the perfect night because there's no like.
Yeah,
It's not-
there's
you
not
don't
much
have a burn,
opportunity
yeah.
cost with somebody that's going to go out there and dominate given the opponents. Now, we all know that anything can happen. I mean, Javier had 13 Ks and the Astros no-hit the Yankees today, and the Yankees were like 50-19 or whatever their record is. So weird stuff happens, but projection-wise, we should see a lot of bunched up scores with the pitchers tonight.
So we've got Rocky
He
Raccoon.
will be the best point per dollar play today.
Rocky, go look at Rocky Raccoon if you guys have the Crunch Time Discord open. Dude's at the beach chilling, watching Crunch Time, and in lineup HQ. How does this? You got to have like your cell phone, right? Or they got 5G little hookups you can do all this stuff from anymore. This seems like the way to. I'll do it from the hot tub sometimes, from like the phone. I'm not bringing my laptop near the hot tub. But this seems like Rocky Raccoon's onto something.
You got to make that similar pick from Magic Kingdom sometime. Get the.
There's no. The wife does not allow me when I go there.
You're unplugged.
It's unplugged. It is. I'm not allowed to really. I sneak it in. Don't tell her. But I'm general. When you make like 6 trips to the bathroom, that's when it all takes place when you're in the Magic Kingdom. You just a long line. I think that's good about do it. I don't see any extra questions coming in regarding the slate. Venice Muscle Beach. Yeah, that does sound like the way to live at Rocky Raccoon. So have yourself a good afternoon, evening out there. I think that's going to do it today. Go CJ Crone. Go Zach Davies. I need like 8 strikeouts. I'll make like like $1,000 on the ladders I threw in on FanDuel. Cards, what do you need big today?
I think I need the opposite of your Davies because I plugged in a little bit. I probably have a little more Arizona than I do Detroit. So Arizona scores a bunch of runs, probably good.
I like that. I can get on board with that. The player performance double. You go hit the Arizona win and Davies to get like 4 Ks. It probably brings it to like even money on FanDuel.
Yeah,
it's a nice.
Fair. That's fair.
I like something like that too. All right, that's going to do it for today. Thanks to FanDuel, our sponsor. Get that risk-free $1,000 bet. Go check out Scores and Odds. Get your access to the best lines in just a couple of clicks across all the sports books. And then if you want the premium picks, you get access to those as well. And have fun out there tonight. For TJ, Cards, I'm Britt. Thanks for watching, and we out, y'all.